6:43 is the time now. Nearly 41 years after a Detroit police officer was shot in the line of duty, he is finally receiving the recognition he deserves.
Now, Scott Larkins will be added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., thanks to the help of his grandson and an inquisitive police detective. 7 Action News reporter Allie Hoxie joins us live now to explain why it took decades to see him memorialized. Allie?
Well, Officer Scott Larkins was shot back in 1978. He died because of complications from that shooting in 2008. So decades later, his grandson wrote an essay about him, and that's why we're talking about him this morning.
When they say it's in your blood, it truly is.
18-year-old Jacob Fournier is a freshman at Macomb Community College. His dream, become a police officer. Like his grandfather before him, Officer Scott Larkins.
He was a good father, he was a good husband, he was a good officer.
Sharon Ann Larkins remembers the November day her husband was shot vividly.
As I circled through my living room, I could see the gold badge, and I knew right then and there it was something. I just opened up the door and asked if he was still alive.
The shooting took place at a Big Boy once located at Jefferson Avenue and East Grand Boulevard. It's now an empty lot. A man later determined to be mentally ill shot Officer Larkins and his partner as they were walking back to their patrol car after eating, something Jacob wrote about while applying for a scholarship through the Colin Rose Memorial Foundation.
My grandfather did survive, but his quality of life wasn't the same, and ultimately took his life.
It sparked the interest of Detective Chris Powell with Wayne State University, also the president of the Colin Rose Memorial Foundation. He searched the database for the National Law Enforcement Officer Memorial in D.C.
I queried their database and didn't see his grandfather's name, so that had me curious to see how we could write that, if it was something we could do to get him recognized on there.
Detective Powell found medical records from Officer Larkins' death in 2008.
The possibility of homicide cannot be excluded.
He took this paperwork, along with newspaper articles and other records, to every outlet he could to help get Officer Larkins' name on the wall. Eventually, it was determined Officer Larkins' name does belong on the wall to remember his sacrifices.
At the time, it didn't really hit me as much as it does, looking back at it now.
I'm proud of my husband, and I'm glad he's being recognized. I really am. He deserved it.
Now, Jacob did receive that scholarship totaling $1,000. As for Officer Larkins, his name will be added to the wall, and there'll be a special ceremony held in May of 2020.
And Allie, we hear that the Colin Rose Foundation is helping the family get to that ceremony. How so?
Well, right now they're collecting donations, and they're also selling coins with Officer Larkins' name and photo on them. If you'd like to see these coins and also see where you can donate, you can visit our website at WXYZ.com.
What a story and what an honor. Thank you very much for that live update, Allie.